Hi there, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. I just wanted to do a little morning update with you guys and kind of touch base on something that we were going through last night, which is trying to find a good dog food. I don't know if you guys read, but they have recently found out that, pardon me, that lectins, I believe it is, that are in things like lentils, peas, chickpeas, what else? Sweet potato, regular potato. They're all bad for dogs. And they're all, apparently bad for people too. But especially bad for dogs. It's in the grain-free dog food. And so the dog food that we've been using has a lot of sweet potato in it. So we went to the store looking for an alternative. And so the only thing that we could find that didn't have any lentils in it at all was raw food. And it was just, for the amount of dogs that we have, unfortunately, it's much too expensive. And so we couldn't do it yet. What I ended up getting still has that in it, but not near as much. It's much farther down in the ingredient list, meaning that it doesn't have as much. And it also had a lot of heart in it. And from what I had read, taurine, which is a essential ingredient, I know specifically for cats, very big for them. And I want to say it's important for everybody, but I just know specifically in regards to cats. But taurine is what they were saying. It's the taurine absorption that's causing the problem, and or it not having enough taurine. I'm not exactly sure which one of those, but it's somehow related. Shh, quit. And so the taurine is in hearts. I've been giving my cat chicken hearts as a treat, just to make sure she's always getting her taurine levels, and I also do it for the dogs. And so this particular dog food has a lot of taurine in it. And the one that I got is the Origin. I got the regional red meats, I believe. And so it's way too expensive for us to be able to afford. It's literally $100 a bag. I mean, we would be spending like $1,000 in dog food a month. It's not at all practical for us. However, I did find a bag of raw that had a very short and simple ingredient list that I felt that we could follow. It would take, we would need to buy all the ingredients in mass and make the dog food ourselves, but I don't have a problem doing that. If it's more important that my dogs are getting the correct nutrition. I've already lost one dog to cancer. He lived to 9.5. The dog that he came off of, or that he's bred off of, which was a dog by the name of Chevy Red Dog, I believe he lived till 14. So, we want to get the most out of them we can, right? Dogs are, to me, one of the best things about life. I couldn't imagine going through life without the ability to have dogs. And so, anything that I can do to help prolong my dog's life, I'm going to be trying to do. And so we're going to be creating our own dog food, or mixing our own dog food soon. And then once we get our own property, which should be in the next 6 months, I believe, we're going through the whole process of having it appraised and all that. We've already put down our I believe it's the escrow money. We've done all that stuff. So it's in the process, but it just takes a while because we're having the house built on the property there. So it's going to be a while. But when we do move, we are going to raise rabbits for our dogs. We are going to do a whole prey diet for our dogs. That way we know they're getting all the nutrition they need. They're going to get the whole thing. So that is what they need. That's what we're going to try to provide. We're also going to have chickens, and so we'll have lots of eggs. And so we're really going to try to do everything we can to always make sure that our dogs have the absolute best nutrition possible. But in the meantime, we're going to be feeding this Origin stuff, which is insanely expensive. I think we spent $100 over with tax, over $100 on one bag last night. So it's a temporary thing. Something to keep in mind if you do decide to change your dog's dog food is you want to make sure that you slowly migrate over to the new dog food. Okay, dogs' stomachs can be sensitive, so especially to something that is as rich as Origin, and you can really do a number on yourself if you're not careful. I mean, they will have explosive diarrhea if you don't do it right. So when you start mixing it, give them their normal dog food, and then all you do is replace just a little portion of it with the new stuff. And over time, I would do it literally through the course of one bag of your old stuff. I would start mixing in little by little the new stuff, and you start mixing in more over time until you've basically got most of the new stuff, and then you can switch over. But you want to give them time to adapt. You want to do that slowly mixing it in until you've got a half, and then you keep going until you actually phase out the old dog food and you're doing 100% the new dog food. If you can do raw, if you can buy raw, I highly suggest it. If you can't afford a completely raw diet, then the best thing you can do is supplement your dog with raw. So, maybe once a week, go to the store, get yourself some chicken hearts and maybe some liver, things like that. And my dogs love beef cheek, and just get that, cut it up, give it to them. You don't want to do too much of it, because if your dog is not all raw, you don't want to overdo it, and you can give them too much at one time. You'll know they have the worst smelling farts and burps that they get from it. We call it rot gut, but you just want to be careful not to feed them too much of it, especially the liver. It can absolutely give them the runs, but it is essential for them to get that stuff. And so if you just mix a little bit of it up, we've even played with the idea of taking like hearts and liver and putting it into a blender and then putting it into ice cubes and just giving them like an ice cube every, maybe even every day. You could totally do that. And that would go a long way towards making sure that your dog is getting a lot of really essential vitamins and stuff that they need, that they receive better through a raw diet. It's been proven. There are studies that show that dogs better absorb nutrients when it's from a raw source than when it's from a cooked source, unlike humans, where we actually do better. Like meat, is the proteins and everything are more readily absorbed whenever you cook the meat. So it's just something to think about if you are going to switch over. I highly advise that if you are on a grain-free diet that is very heavy in lectins, that you do what you can to limit that and to kind of phase that out, because it's not good for them. And we really want our dogs to live as long as possible. I know I do. So, that's the best thing that I can suggest. And then if you have the ability to make your own raw, it's not that hard. There is if you just go to the store, you can, that's all I did, is I went to our local pet store. Is a place called Tomlinson's. They have really good high grade dog foods there. And I just flipped over the box of one of them and read it, and I was like, okay, well, this is what's required. This is what's needed. And I mean, and if you think about it, it's not rocket science, right? I mean, they're very, very, very closely related to wolves. So, they basically just need raw meats and bone and organ meats and stuff. So if you get that to them, then they're going to be healthy, and they're going to live a long time, a lot longer than if you feed them a kibble diet. And something to just kind of chew on is just look at all of the deaths of cancer and stuff like that. I mean, it's not a coincidence that these dogs are getting sick. There's lots of information out. So do your research and try to make the best decision you can for the the budget that you have, right? Take it seriously, do your research, and try to find a happy compromise so that you are giving your dog the best chance at a long and healthy life. because they deserve it. You know, they're there, they're here for us, ready to die for us, and the least that we can do is provide them with a good diet. Okay, so y'all have a good day.